Yo,
Where are you? It looks like you're in a library.
I'm in Berlin. I'm in the addict apartment of someone I met on Instagram.
What? 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 Wait, hold
No,
on. You're in an addict apartment of someone that you met on Instagram.
yeah, in Berlin. I just asked my followers, does anybody have an apartment available on Instagram? And then a couple people said, yeah, I do. And so I'm paying for it, but I'm just not going through Airbnb.
Wait, how is that? Is it uh weird and creepy, or is it nice and casual? And what's that experience like?
I mean, it's a gamble. You just don't know what you're gonna get, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, they send you photos, and like this place is obviously really nice.
Is it
Um,
strange because this is someone who kind of follows you and knows your story? Does it make you feel awkward or no?
No, I mean it's an empty apartment. They live in Lisbon and Berlin, and I actually met them in
Wow.
Lisbon, and they told me about their apartment. So this is where I'm at for the week.
That's so awesome, man.
I
The
mean,
power of the internet.
yeah, the power of the internet. I've met a ton of amazing people on Instagram, like
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
and I just had a really awesome couple days going to parties in Berlin. I went to a PJ party.
Yes. We want to know about the PJ party. We also want to know what happened to the young French lady who brought you towels that you ended up going to a nude beach with. We want to, this is like, man, this is like an episode of, or like this is almost a sitcom, not sitcom. It's a very interesting documentary that's
A
happening
soap
right
opera.
now.
It's a soap opera.
Soap opera, Telemundo. I don't know what it is, man. Yeah.
Well, I don't. We actually, I'm very excited about this episode because we both received some feedback that we have to address.
Oh shit, we're in the principal's office, man.
Yeah, we're both in the
Okay.
principal's office, but I mean, where do we
Oh
start?
god.
I could
I
start
get
with the French maid.
Yeah, start with the French maid. Can I just say real quick? There's something called wolf's piss. Wolf's piss that you could buy. It's pee from a wolf to spread around your house to kind of I guess it's territorial. It scares animals away, and I allow myself to pee on the side of the house because I was late today, and I did that real quick. I didn't want to run the house, and I do that because I feel like I'm so alpha. I give myself permission to pee on the side of the house and hoping that's going to deter where bears and bobcats and stuff.
Well,
Anyway,
not
just a
on the
story.
side of the house, right?
Straight up side of the house on the fence. I'm writing my name on the
Yeah, on
fence.
the fence, not on the siding of your house.
Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a pea bush, like a lot of men have pea bushes at their house. Like there's a place where they pee in their yard, so they don't have to go inside.
Makes me feel manly. I work out of my garage, pee on the side of the house, do what I want. All right,
Yeah,
sorry, bro.
as long as there's no kids around.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for you, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so a gentleman doesn't kiss and tell, but
Well,
a
unless
beautiful.
he has a podcast. Unless he has a podcast. There's one exception: is if you have a podcast, you kiss and tell, man.
Well, here's the thing. There's a limit to this, right? Because I have to protect people's
Sure.
privacy, and it's like
Yeah,
people aren't signing up to get blasted on a
that's
podcast.
true. That's true.
But
Even though the person's anonymous, yes, I agree. I agree.
let's just say that she's aware of the fact that I talked about it on the on the last episode,
Mm.
and she was happy to give me 5-star service. Her words.
Hold
Her
on.
words.
Five. She was happy to give you 5-star service.
Yeah, not only deliver towels, but
Holy shit! So is that what happened?
yeah, we had a bunch of dates. We went to dinner a couple times. We went to a movie. We went to an outdoor movie. We met up at the beach.
Do you rate that service that happened 5 stars?
It was if I could give more stars, I would.
Oh my gosh, you son of a bitch! I
It
don't
was
even know if
really
I want to hear these stories anymore because none of this shit happened to me while I was single, and I just
It's funny, this whole episode where there's a lot. It's going to be a very sexy episode because we're going to have to talk about a few things. But
okay.
it was a very sweet experience. I'm really
Wow.
glad, and it just happened very organically. Like I've been on like a Field, that like dating app for
Right.
sex positive people,
Right.
and I haven't met up with anybody on Field, but I was able to have like a really fun romantic like I don't know, escapade or something, like a 5-day fling, a fling. I had a really fun fling, and it happened organically, which is really nice.
Yes, and rare. And I got to say, man, after my divorce, I went to Florence, Italy for the first time in my life because I've never been anywhere. And I remember going there with a couple friends, and it was so romantic. And standing in front of David, and the Mediterranean Sea, and it was in Italy, man. People eating outside, and I wanted what you just had. I wanted just a little bit of romance. I wanted some Italian woman to bring me towels in my hotel. None of that happened. I remember just at one point feeling really lonely and down on myself. Apps weren't around then, like Field and all stuff, but the fantasy of just kind of meeting someone organically and having this, Ferris Bueller's Day Off rated X version, it was something I was very thirsty for. It didn't happen, so I'm glad it's happening to you.
Well, I mean, I can relate. I mean, I've done a lot of traveling, and there are often times when I'm feeling really lonely and where it would be nice to share like a romantic experience or just like, a fun long day with someone. And for the most part, I don't think it happens that often. I think
and it doesn't have to be sexual. When I say Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like you just said, a fun day off with someone. I mean, colliding with a stranger, especially with the difference in culture, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I do want to say that like traveling can get really lonely, especially if you're traveling alone.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So here's the thing I have to apologize about. When you asked me about Portugal, I was not in a good place. Like I was pretty sad. I was down. I felt disconnected. I had just gotten there, so I was jet lagged, and there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. And you asked me how's Portugal, and I was like, oh yeah, it's part of the pigs country, right? Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain.
Right.
And someone messaged me, and they're like, yo, dude, pigs is super derogatory.
Yeah, I can see that.
I didn't know that. I just thought it was an acronym. Yeah. And then I looked into it and Wikipedia the thing, and it's like, oh, that's what other countries were calling these countries.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's I've never heard that term, but when you said pigs, I was like, oh man, I don't know if that's I think that's derogatory. It's got to be angled. But anyway.
Yeah, so I feel really bad about it. I didn't know. It's not an excuse, but it is an explanation. And I even described Portugal as like things were falling apart, and the whole thing's and rightfully so. A few people were like, "Oh, that felt really shitty to hear that about my country."
Yeah, you did say it was a shit show and the worst place you've ever been, and you wanted to get the hell out or something.
I didn't say any of those things.
Hey, listen, man, I applaud you even hearing those comments and then addressing them. That's great, Shaun.
Yeah, and I felt badly for a couple days. I was like, oh man, like I just insulted a whole bunch of people from 4 countries.
At one, with one word.
With one word, yeah. So, anyways, my apologies. It wasn't my intention. I'm going to try to do better.
Look at that, you are doing better. I love it.
Thank you. Portugal. Oh, so we recorded on Monday, and then I had the whole week after, and I fell. I mean, I understand why people fall in love with Lisbon. Like it's gorgeous. It's warm.
What changed? Just your mindset, or what?
Just my mindset. Like I started talking to people more. I started like being friendlier and just sort of like living the daily life. So it was more about how I was feeling in the moment, less about the place.
Yeah. So it's almost like because of your state, you had to change it. Like you had new lenses. You saw things you didn't see before because you were down.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. We went to the beach. I went shopping. Like I didn't get to explore anything other than. Oh, that's not true. I went and like took my buddy's car, and we went and like tripped around with somebody, and it was really nice. So Portugal was great. Greece is fantastic. Like I always love Greece. There's just I got rid of all my tan lines. By the way, 5 days.
Oh God, nude beaches and sexcapades and pastries. Fucking Shaun. All right.
Yeah. And so now I'm in Berlin, and Berlin, I've been here 4 times already, and I have friends here. I love it. And I spent over 12 hours in not a gay club, but like a very it's a gay queer nightclub.
Yep.
That's called Berghain. I don't know if you've ever heard of this place.
No, but you did mention that there was another person you met, I think via Instagram, who was generous in giving you outfits and just a lot of, and I think that's tied to this, right? This
Yeah.
experience.
So Mark is this breathwork. Mark is this like
Hmm.
really lovely German dude who sort of took me under his wing and invited me to the PJ party, put me in touch with
Wow.
his friends. He has all these beautiful friends. Everybody's super friendly. They're from all
Mm,
over. And then we went to this club called Berghain, which is notorious for having the hardest door in the world, meaning it's really hard to get into.
right. Not literally. Yeah.
And people queue for hours, and then they get up and the bouncer just goes, not tonight, and just like
Oh my
exits you out
God.
of the line.
Sounds like Hollywood 2001.
And it's brutal, right? Like people try
Hmm.
so hard. And with Mark, we just like went up to the guest list and we were in 2 minutes. It was like it
Wow.
was a very VIP experience. And then inside is just like it is debaucherous but very friendly. Like because they have such a like strict door policy, they're like trying to filter out people that are going to be bad vibes.
Mm,
Right. And so when you get
got
in
it.
there, everybody's half naked. There was like, I went to the bathroom. This guy was like, okay, it's very debaucherous. I just want to be clear about this. It's very debaucherous. There's all these floors. There's dark rooms, like tunnels that you can go into where there's no light and there's people doing all sorts of weird, sexy shit
Oh
in there.
shit.
I went to the
Little
bathroom. This guy was,
eyes wide shut, kind
yeah, yeah, but more drugs and no costumes.
of. Okay, got it.
And it was just like a really fun experience, and I met all these people, and it was really fun. I went to the bathroom once, and there was this guy like furiously jerking off into the urinal.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow.
So I think you might have. I don't know if you would have enjoyed it. I think you might have been a little out of your element.
Did you enjoy it? Did you have an experience there, or was it more kind of observing this interesting world?
I mean, I was dancing. Like
Yeah.
there's like 3 rooms of incredible music. I mean, it's like packed, and people are smoking cigarettes, and it's hot
Yeah.
and sweaty, and like
Wow.
everybody's half naked, but everybody's very like respectful. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. No one's
and
douchey.
no one's douchey, and women can be half naked or fully naked, and there's no groping, there's nothing
No one's
inappropriate. People aren't
aggressive.
even
Yeah.
leering, like um
Is that
and
you think
so
that's a cultural thing? That reminds me of the whole thing with the nude beach. Like, you think that's a cultural thing where it's like there's a layer of kind of respect and freedom in being nude or half nude that we don't that doesn't exist in the States.
yeah, I mean, this place is very particular. You'll never find anything like this anywhere else.
Yeah.
But there are pockets of these like very sex positive cultures
Hmm.
that are judgment free, shame free, and they really like celebrate people expressing themselves in whatever way feels good to them, as long as it's not infringing upon anybody else. Um, so it was fun. It was really fun. I'm tired. I spent like 18 hours in a nightclub over the
Wow.
last 2 days.
See, another
Um,
experience. I kind of that sounds so interesting to me because it seems like kind of like you don't do it every weekend, but it's a very once in a while thing, and also because you're traveling, you're getting a direct conduit into a culture and something interesting underground. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. For me, it's fun. If I lived here, I'd probably go more often. And some of the people that go to this place go every weekend. Like the party starts on Saturday
Mm.
and it goes until Monday at 8 a.m.
Sean, when you started this trip, we should have strapped a GoPro on you, and we should have turned that thing on and just left it on, where you're not allowed to turn it off. So whether you are getting a 5-star service or going into these erotic clubs, that the footage would have been, oh man, what I would have then taken that and just watched the whole thing, live
Well, it's like
vicariously.
that when they strap a GoPro to a dog and the
Yeah,
dog
that's
like
what I'm
takes.
talking about. Yeah, like on your neck or something, like somewhere where you can't take it off. It's like a, when you get arrested, it's around your foot. You can't take it off, and it's just
Well,
strapped on you, and it's always on.
the thing about these nightclubs is that if you take a video, you're immediately ejected from the
Oh,
club. They put
sure, of
stickers
course.
on all of your cameras.
Yeah, because
Like that's
people are
that's
nude. Yeah,
why people can be so free, and that's also why people get really high, right? Like,
yeah,
and it's nice because if you go to clubs in the United States, everybody's got their phones out, everybody's taking videos of like the DJ, and
yeah.
and in the room you see a ton of phones because people are recording the same stuff. And here there's no phones. It's pretty amazing. Like it
Mm.
really changes like drastically the environment and sort of the vibe.
The closest to that we may have here is Burning Man, because I know Burning Man isn't the tone is a lot more freedom. It's not aggressive. It's not perverted. People are also half naked, and there's music, and they're all up all night doing drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, Burning Man, there are like little pockets, like you can go to the orgy dome at Burning Man
Mm-hmm.
and have, public
Yeah.
sex basically. There was this camp called Jiffy Lube, which was sort of like the dark room at Berghain. It was like sort of a gay dark tent with like a labyrinth a little bit, and you just walk in there and you don't know what you'll encounter. Usually people wanting to blow you.
So I've never been to any kind of like sex. I've never been to anything like this. I also have never been to Burning Man. But if you're going to say like a sex party in the Hollywood Hills of some whatever some person's house, I feel safer because I feel like it's not. So when it comes to orgies and stuff, like as far as like who's clean and not like Burning Man in the desert, an orgy, a public orgy to me sounds. It just it doesn't sound clean as opposed to like a house in the living room and
Oh, you mean actual like hygiene?
Yeah, well, hygiene. We don't know these people. It's just I guess just a lot of body parts flying around. And you just jump. It's like you just jump into the deep end and just go at it. It seems like.
Well, so I mean, I guess I could dispel some myths because I've been to a few sex parties. And this is a great segue because we have to talk about consent again because
Yes.
we got a lot of feedback on the kissing conversation.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm in
And
trouble.
we got several voicemails, some nicer than others. I'm only going to play the nice one. I'm not going to play the mean one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll dispel some myths. At sex parties, it's rare that you will see or encounter an orgy in the way that you think it's an orgy, where it's just a free-for-all and everybody can just fuck anybody without any sort of conversation or invitation.
Right.
I mean, those probably do exist, but they're not accessible to normal people, right? Like, so none of that's really happening. Like, you will have conversations with people and you'll be like, oh, would you like to play with us? Or we're over here. Like, okay, here's an example. Okay, this is... I went to a sex party and I had hooked up with this woman and we were in this bus in a warehouse in Berkeley. There was like a bus in the warehouse and it was a sex bus.
Of course. Makes sense.
And
I was drive everyone.
The love bus.
Love bus, yeah.
And I was with this woman. We hadn't entered the bus yet. I was actually really nervous. The whole experience was like very overwhelming for me and I was really nervous and I wanted to hook up, but I didn't know how to. And this gorgeous woman that I'd been on a date with before, so I knew her. She happened to be at the party, and I'm clutching this water bottle on my chest, like this, because I'm scared, and it's like my baby bottle,
your pacifier, yeah.
And she goes, "Do you want to put the baby bottle down and kiss me?" Right. So again, hot, really cool, changes the whole dynamic, right?
Yeah,
like I was nervous,
also
and
consent, asking to kiss. This is a topic we talked about. Yes.
Yeah. And so I said yes, and then we made out, and then I was like, "Do you want to go in the bus?" And so again, more consent. Now we go into the bus, and then we talk about what do we want to do. Like, and she's like, "Oh, I'd really like to blow you," and so we start doing that, right? And it's like we don't necessarily have to ask at every single step. Like sometimes you get buy-in, you get energetic buy-in, you get nonverbal buy-in, and that does require you to be able to read the room. But this is just an example. She's blowing me. This guy next to me is having sex with his girlfriend. Or I think she's something. I forget exactly what they were doing, but he looks at her. He turns to us and he goes, "Excuse me." And he's talking to her. He goes, "Do you mind choking my girlfriend while I fuck her?"
Oh my God, dude. What the fuck? What? It's so funny because this is what someone would say. Okay, John, I had this dream. It didn't happen in real life. This is a dream or a fantasy. You're talking about something that just happened to you in real life. Wow. Okay.
So the point is that like they are dreams, but they can also become realities if you learn the rules of the game, right? Like, how do you get invited to these parties? How do you go to these parties? How do you act in a party like this, right? And like in spaces like this, I think that's why I have a lot of experience with consent. And I don't mind asking because it's required in spaces like this.
Right. You've had these experiences where, I have not. But so wait, so the guy says, can you choke my girlfriend? And then so what happened?
So she choked her while they were having sex, and I think we were having sex. And
oh my God.
Here's a funny side note about the bus. There was like, let's picture maybe like 40 or 50 people having sex in this bus, right? And it's
Yeah.
usually like couples and threesomes and stuff.
Yeah.
And we both came. And as soon as I came, actually, both of us realized that the bus smelled really bad, like
See,
fermented
this is what I'm
sex.
talking about, Bob. This is what I'm talking about, Sean. See,
Yeah.
yeah, hygiene, just
And so
yeah.
we got up and we left. We're like, we got to get out of this bus,
Oh,
you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, I actually talk about this on my podcast. I do like a whole reenactment. I like tell the whole story about this. We can link to it if people want to listen to it.
yeah.
Okay, I've got to play something for you. Are you ready?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm a little
we're playing.
scared. All right.
Yeah, it's okay. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Kate. I am 34, and I am calling regarding John's last comment about something being a boner killer. My question is, can we please have a deep dive into this guy's understanding of consent? Because that was pretty alarming. I haven't heard anybody use that language in quite a while. Let me know what you think. Thanks.
The language she's talking about is me preferring when you're attracted to someone just to kiss them. I don't mean forcefully, but make the first move, lean in, whatever it is, instead of asking. That's what she's talking about, right?
Well, that and that you're describing the whole thing as a boner killer, right? Like it's going to kill your boner,
Oh,
right?
right.
To ask for consent.
Yeah, so let me explain that. It's not my boner. I heard, and maybe it is changing. I heard from many women in my earlier days that look, if you want to kiss me, just kiss me. If you have to ask or if there's any ambivalence, it's a boner killer for her. She would get turned off because there's something about maybe leading or someone just the confidence of someone saying I like you and I want to kiss you. Not me. I wouldn't get a boner killer. I mean, I wouldn't. Okay, I think what she means is, John, if you have to ask, I know what she's saying. She's saying that the fact that I have to ask for permission would turn me off is what she's talking about.
I mean, this is just this was an intro into this topic, right? We don't have to.
Yeah.
I do understand what you're saying, right? You're talking about the lady boner. Basically, it kills the mood if you have to ask.
The mood, or I've heard a lot of women, undecisive men, or like when you go to a restaurant, like, what do you want to eat? Well, whatever you want to eat. Well, what do you want to eat? Well, that kind of stuff. Like that can be a boner killer. But listen, I get what she's saying. I get her saying that. John, if it turns you off that you have to ask for permission, there's something toxic in that, because then it's predatory, then it's aggressive, then it's then the turn on is not so much the kiss, but you're crossing a boundary.
Yeah, maybe, and also just that, like, look, I posted that thing on Instagram last week about the kissing thing, and then I put a poll on it, and 75% of people said ask, and 25% of them said don't. And I looked at the comments, and the comments said, there are people supporting your thing, right? There are women saying, like, look, if you don't know, then it's not, I'm not ready for you to kiss me. Like, I will let you know if I want you to kiss me. And then there was women saying, just do it. And if I don't want you to kiss me, I'll back away or I'll stop you. And then there's a lot of women, more women saying, I just don't want to be put in that situation. I would much rather you check. It's hot when you check, right? Like, and that's where the whole consent is sexy conversation comes from, right? Like,
hey, this is great. And for me, we should retitle this podcast Interventions. But for me, it is a check, and I think I do have one foot too much in the 80s, and I need to kind of get more with the times. I think permission is a huge topic these days, and it's something to be taken seriously. So yeah, I mean, I do think it's something that I need to look at more, definitely.
And I will say, like, I asked the French maid if I could kiss her, and she kind of laughed, and she's like, no one's ever asked me that before.
See, maybe cultural, but also is France and Europe, and because places like Korea and maybe Mexico where there's just a lot of, like, what is it, machismo, or there's a lot of I know in Japan the whole women are very submissive when it comes to sex. Cultural, I don't know if that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that cultural, it's a lot different than the States.
Yeah, I mean, cultural for sure. I mean, definitely Latinas, I've heard they just would prefer their man to just do it, and to
Yeah,
like step up and to
yeah,
own their desire. And also, I think, yeah, if you know how to read the room, you're good. You don't have to say, "Can I kiss you?" If she's licking her lips and she's looking at
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
mouth and she's
yeah.
got her hands all over you, we
Right,
get
right.
it. Like you can
Yeah,
you can
you can
probably
lean in.
safely kiss somebody in that
Yeah.
situation, but also not all encounters are going to be that clear, right?
Yeah,
Like
and
some
I'm
people
not
are going to
saying to
be.
grab. I'm not saying to grab someone's ears. I'm talking about. I'm just saying leaning in. There's a difference
Yeah,
between leaning in and forcing someone to kiss
and
you.
that's funny. I was just thinking about this idea is that the lean in, I think, is overly romanticized, right? Like it's like
Mm,
movie stuff. It's fairy
yeah,
tale
yeah,
stuff. It's
yeah.
like, and a lot of dating tropes are overly romanticized, right? I think people are obsessed with the good meet cute or the great first kiss, right?
Hmm.
They want to talk about this first kiss. So they would tell their grandkids that the first kiss was the most amazing thing in the world. When
Right,
in all
right.
reality, like it's really not that important. Actually, I'm kind of curious. How was you and Vanessa's first kiss?
Oh, I mean, it was good. On the first date, I think she kind of expected me to kiss her. I didn't know to kiss her or not, and I kind of landed somewhere in between, like her ear and her
Oh,
like jawbone somewhere. Very weird, strange, and it was very awkward. It was very clumsy. Did not ask, but I didn't know what to do. So there's a sign of ambivalence, right?
yeah.
I'm sure that was a turnoff for her, where it's like I didn't know what to do. I wasn't sure, and I just kind of like landed somewhere on her face, like a fly. And it was kind of a quick peck. So I don't know if that even counts. I guess technically it was a kiss, but that was that was our first date.
I guess if you had asked, or said, "I'd really love to kiss you right now," there would have been less ambivalence and you would have connected
Yes,
lips
I would have.
instead
Yeah,
of
I would have landed on her mouth for sure.
glanced off of her jawbone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't have. I would have landed on her mouth if I said, "Hey, can I kiss you?" or "I would like to kiss you." Um, she would have been open to it, and then yeah, we would have made out. It wouldn't have been like a fly on her face kind of kiss.
So I have a few other things just to like talk, just to go a little deeper on this. I think that most people who want you to kiss them won't change their mind if you ask. Like
Right.
they're
Like
not going
the
to be
ask
like,
isn't going to turn them off. Got it.
they're going to be like, "Ew, I was totally going to
Yeah, yeah,
fuck you,
yeah.
but now you're just some
Yeah, because you
beta
asked.
soy boy,"
Right.
right?
And I think today, because of the landscape, asking can actually be hotter. What I'm
Yeah.
getting is if you ask, oh, here's someone who is respectful and with the times, and definitely not like John Kim, and so it just turns me on more. I want to kiss you more now that you ask.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give you some credit and some love for being like open and willing to discuss this, and like you've got a lot of awareness and you don't seem to take this too personally, and I think that's kind of like what we're trying to do here, and that's kind of how we hope other men can respond to criticism and feedback.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Shaun, for being protective as a friend.
Yeah,
You're
it feels
kind,
like your
kind
ego
soul.
is not tied up in this.
No, it's not, and I'm also aware that I am 51. My face tells me every morning I wake up that I'm getting older, and yeah, I'm not aware as much as I should be with everything that is the new. You know.
Well, someone gave me a tip about your bags, your eye bags, like how to lessen the bags,
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
but I
All right.
forgot what it is. So
See this? I'm holding a chopstick in my hand, and this is something I used to do when I was 10. John, I don't know if you know this, but I put it in my eyes like this. I've been doing this since I was 10 to look more "quote unquote" American, and I
yeah.
make my eye wrinkle deeper. But now, as I'm getting older, I'm like a Sharpay, where it's like, dude, my eye just sags over the entire eye.
That's funny. I have the same thing where I feel like, I mean, hooded eyelids. Like
Yes, yes,
I can tell they're drooping.
dude, men. So this is all new, man. My eyes are fucking drooping like what's that cartoon character? I mean, it's just it's drooping like this, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it happens. We're all getting older. I'm actually coming to terms with my shaved head. I mean, I
I
went to
like it. I like it.
I went to 18 hours of parties. I'm not wearing a hat as much
Mhm.
anymore, and I'm just like operating in the world with a shaved head, and it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, I like it. I think I mean, I think both look good on you, and also because I'm a few inches shorter than you, I never really saw your bald spots because you got to be able directly bird's eye view to see your bald spots on top.
But I see it. I know it's
Yeah,
there.
but you see it. I get it. I get it. And you know what? My hair, I told you, it's thinning, and I am desperately holding on to my long hair because it's kind of become an identity of mine, my merm. And I'm so terrified to lose it to the extent where I've also even mentioned to Shaun, I'm going to fucking Turkey and getting a hair transplant if that's what's required. Not necessarily today, but
I think it looks great and you could rock it for a long time. So
we'll see, man. Once it gets stringy, you can't have stringy long hair. That definitely.
Nope.
Speaking of boner killers, that's a boner killer.
I might do just a tail, like a braided tail at the end.
You do that, and you will no longer have attractive French women bringing you towels.
That's I think there's a guru status there.
God, I'm trying to think of what I can say because every time I talk to you, I'm like, oh, I wish I had that experience. Oh, I wish these fuckers traveling and just things are unfolding. I'm going, and not to make this about a competition, but I'm going to LA to Catalina Island on a jet ski. Something I've never done before. Shaun's looking at me like, I don't want to do that, but okay.
I mean, how far is that?
It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours on a jet ski. It's so in Los Angeles, Catalina is 2 hours away. Catalina is an island, and from Long Beach to Catalina, they take a boat or you can take a helicopter. There's a service here that guides you on jet skis. So me and a few friends are gonna go there on jet skis, which is part terrifying, part exciting. I don't know, something that I want to do.
Well, I don't want to burst your bubble, but I find jet skis kind of boring unless they're like this overpowered, like micro speedboats, you know? And it might be a long ride.
It is going to be a long ride. I might pass whales. I'm terrified of water. It's so part of it is kind of like the self challenge to do something scary. By 1 hour in, you're like straight up in the middle of the ocean. Like there's you're not, I mean, it's not like crazy waves or anything, but you're in the middle of the ocean.
I think it could be scary, a little exciting, could be boring. I rented a jet ski on cocaine once in Colombia. Most boring experience of my life. The cocaine probably had something to do with it, though. Like it wasn't the jet ski wasn't going fast enough.
Oh, Shaun has to pee on everything. I mean, no, it's definitely not a sex party, Shaun, but it's all I got here, man. All I got are fucking access to jet sea-doos, and you're traveling the world going to sex parties, man.
Sorry, I don't want to poop on your jet ski adventure. I mean, you and I have different lives.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a lot of things. You have a lot of things that I want. You know, like you've got a beautiful wife, you've got a nice house in LA, you got a cool M5 truck thing, you've got a beautiful daughter. Like you are more successful than I am in your career. You're a published author, best-selling author of like several. You even got a kids book. Like you're a machine. You're a CrossFit daddy. Like you've can clean and press. What can you clean and press?
It's clean and jerk.
Clean and jerk.
Clean and press sounds like I'm doing laundry.
It's your parents' other business.
Hey, Shaun, but you know what's interesting? Speaking of the times and what's current, so you represent that the singlehood life and all the excitement that comes with that. I represent the Picket fans, like you said, raising a daughter and cleaning and pressing. And I was wondering, so the next book I'm working on is about everything that's new, and what is new these days is customization and this idea of co-creating. I wonder if there is something where both can exist. I wonder if you can create a life where you can have the picket fence and taking your daughter to school and all of that, but then also have this wild, crazy experience. Sex parties and dancing. Like, why does it have to be one life or the other? And I think what's emerging, and I'm actually really curious about it, is what's in the middle that's customized, where it's like you could have it all. You could have jet skis and sex parties.
Yeah. Preschool pickup and
debauchery.
Yeah, I mean, what you're talking about, I think, is called radical relationship design. where
It's a fancy term. Yeah, I call it co-creating. But yes, the tearing down old blueprints and designing something that's honest to you, that isn't stained by generational, hard lines.
Yeah, I think you can do it. I do think it's much more challenging when you have a kid. Like you don't have as much energy. You're constrained by school and their schedule and being a provider, and so it's harder to just like jet set off to Thailand for a week of nude sunbathing and rock climbing, right? But I think you can.
Yes. Sorry,
you could design it. You could design it.
Yeah, I mean, so something in the middle would be like Vanessa and I recently went to a birthday party in Palm Springs. All young, beautiful parents. Our kids were in another room watching TV, getting babysat kind of, and we actually took a little Molly and listened to music and had like adults hanging out. And in that moment I was like, oh, this is contained, it feels safe, the kids are in the next room and we're having like fun and exploring and doing Molly, which I first time doing Molly, and it was kind of mild. It wasn't exactly the stuff that you're doing, but it was kind of a foot in both worlds. Like, oh, this can happen, and that was like my big revelation leaving Palm Springs. I was like, oh, we don't have to just like go to bed at 9 p.m. and like we could actually be social and take recreational drugs with intention and still be parents and be responsible.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole world out there, right? And you told me about this party and how you were like rubbing people's feet because you have strong hands and like people really enjoyed that.
Oh shit!
I think
yes, that's what Molly did for me. Everyone, I ended up I just started rubbing people's feet because they're like, John, you have really strong hands. Because
wait, did we not talk about this on that podcast?
I mean, I don't know what there is to talk about. I mean, it's not like I was Shaun. Your experiences eclipse everything that happened in Palm Springs, which is not much.
But
me rubbing people's feet.
What I'm saying is that, like, look, I'm moving to LA soon. I know people in the sex positive communities in LA. I think there might be a world in which I can help bridge the gap between where you're at and where I'm at.
Well, I'm open to you know what? I met Pharrell Williams once in person, and he said to me, "Anything's possible." I put that in my back pocket, and that's the thing, is anything is possible these days. So, okay, I'm open. I'm wide. I'm excited for you to come to LA. And
here's my intention. Right, is already. It's funny, actually. I talked to my therapist about skinny dipping. Like inviting you to skinny dip in Mexico. And she was like, "Oh, I wonder if there was a step before that, right? Like if John's like a little shy about skinny dipping with a bunch of people, like,
I'm not gonna.
Why doesn't he do that? Maybe he could do that on his own. Maybe he can go skinny dipping alone and see how does it feel.
I love that idea. Yeah.
I talked to my therapist about you, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
I dedicated like 12 minutes of my session for you.
Invoice me. Let me know how much I owe you for that.
It's like $12.
Okay. That's, I mean, speaking of being single on purpose and the singlehood giving you a cape, is that's a great challenge, is to go skinny dipping by yourself. God, that'd be amazing.
That, and also, how like your friends always inviting you to go to a Korean spa?
Mm-hmm.
There are really nice spa experiences in LA, and you could just go alone.
Sure. Yeah, I actually prefer to go alone. I enjoy it more alone.
Yeah, but you could go alone to one where it's like people are naked in the sauna, for instance, and you can choose to like explore that on your own with people you don't know.
Yeah.
Or we can get Pharrell Williams. We can go with Pharrell Williams.
I would love to, if you can make that happen.
Well, you know him.
No, I had a meeting with him. Do not know him personally. I can't text him or anything. No.
Okay, got it. Yeah. I was excited when you gave me your phone number, though. I was like, oh, I could text John. Like he likes me.
It's funny because you never do, but I'm glad you have it.
I'm trying to get better at replying to your text messages. I feel badly about it, but I'm overwhelmed socially. I don't put a lot of weight on that anymore. I used to, and Vanessa was like, dude, people have lives, man. Like, why do you get so, why do you think it means something if someone doesn't text you back, even for a day? And I was like, you're right. And now I'm actually
I send a text, and it's almost like a message in a bottle, and kind of send it off to sea. And then if people text back, great. If they don't, I don't judge them for it. So you're still my friend, Shaun.
Oh, cool. Me too. Even if I apologize for the jet ski thing. I didn't mean to like take the wind out of your sails.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw like a Biggie video, drone shots, fucking wearing suits on jet skis with briefcases, right? And I thought it was very hot and sexy and a kind of a bucket list. And you're like, John, that's so boring.
I'm curious. I really am curious to hear what your experience is going to be like. And if you're
okay, so I'm doing it because I've been in LA for my entire life, and this is something that's always been under my nose. I didn't know about, and it's something you just do once as a bucket list. I have no interest in jumping out of planes. I have people who rock climb. Is like, I don't get it, but I could see myself because the jet ski is a water motorcycle, and I could see myself enjoying it. I don't know if after 2 hours in I would enjoy it, or I'd be like, all right, I want to get the fuck off this thing, But I don't know. It's also kind of terrifying, dude. Middle of the ocean. I have a water phobia. If anything happens where I see a shark or a whale, just a fin, I'm gonna walk like Jesus on water back to shore. Run like.
Well,
Jesus.
I think you should stay on the jet ski.
Yeah. I will, but I will.
That's the best move.
I will be terrified. And there's gonna be dolphins and stuff, I'm sure.
My only suggestion: bring AirPods and maybe download an audiobook in case it gets a little monotonous.
Sean, it's not going to be that boring, dude. Dude, you're on a water motorcycle in the sea. It is not going to be boring going 30, 40 miles an hour over waves. Oh my gosh. You don't have to be naked getting your dick sucked and choking someone to have a good time, Sean, in a bus.
Hey, I like that. Actually, I like that. Like enjoying the more like subtle gifts of life.
Look, I'm just taking what I can get. If I had access to sex clubs and orgies, maybe that would be something I would be doing as well.
Well,
but I don't have access to that right now. I have access to a jet ski going to Catalina. That's all
that sounds fun,
man. And I'll take it.
I will help. We'll get you access, but you'll have to be. The thing about sex parties is you got to be comfortable being naked. That's just like that's part of the deal.
The fantasy for me isn't like a sex party. The fantasy for me would be more of like more of an intimate setting. More of at someone's house, obviously with consent and maybe Vanessa participating or not, but it wouldn't be like a public thing. Like I can't see myself jumping into a sea of naked humans in the middle of the desert. That's not my
these parties are rarely public. They're not public. They're all private, invite only.
Oh, things. Invite only. Yeah.
Yeah. I went to a party. I had to fill out an application, and I had to have been vetted by somebody who had been to the parties beforehand, and she had to be at the party, and it had to be a woman. And if I misbehaved in any way, we both got like kicked out and barred from ever going back to those parties.
I know a lot of people in LA, a lot of successful people, a lot of both men and women who attend like these kind of like secret, high-end, invite-only sex parties. And I've always been curious about them. I've always been like, just wanted to go in and see what it's like. So maybe one day Vanessa and I will.
My first sex party, I was terrified, and I was a wallflower the whole time, and I felt
I think that's so. The first one, I think I just want to be a spectator. Like I'm just at the zoo.
Yeah, that's how I felt. And I was with an ex-girlfriend at the time, and we both were just sort of like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and didn't really know. People were getting spanked, and hot wax was getting dripped, and it was just like it was real weird. Okay, so I got a thing. I'm going to play a thing. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Wait, I gotta hit the button.
Hi, my name is Lori, 50, in Arizona, and just have a question and comment. Happy birthday to Shaun and John. Great podcast, enjoy it. Question on a comment that Shaun has been making recently about Hot Girl Summer and the recent post, Super Slutty Hot Girl Summer. Just curious as to why it wouldn't be a super slutty F-boy summer. Women have a lot to do about their sexuality and judgmental comments on it, and I'm just wondering, I feel like it's unintended, but I'm just curious. Thanks.
So the question is, why am I saying that I want to have a super slutty hot girl summer, and why am I not calling it a fuckboy summer?
Because you don't fuck boys. You
No,
are
what?
a heterosexual man, right?
No, you don't know what a fuckboy is?
Oh, a fuck boy. Okay, dude, this again. That's not. Don't laugh, Shaun. I'm 51 years old, man. This is telling of my age. Just real quick, people will text me letters now, I don't know, fucking GHL, whatever, and I don't even know what. I mean, I know LOL is all I know, and I always have to go back like, what, Vanessa? What the fuck does this person mean? And she'll say, John, this is what it means. And people are all we're all communicating via letters now. It's crazy, but yes, I do know what a fuckboy is. And I kind of don't understand what she's saying. Why not call it a hot fuckboy summer? Oh, instead of a slutty.
Okay, so here's a couple of things. A hot girl summer is like, this is what the hot girl summer is. It's a phrase that encapsulates a mood of confidence, self-love, and unbridled enjoyment of life, particularly during the summer months. That's the hot girl summer. So I want a hot girl summer where I can just do what I want and love myself and feel like I follow my desires and unapologetically enjoy my life.
Is hot girl summer a new term? I thought when you said hot girl summer, I thought you meant like, oh, it's a summer, I'm going to get on a hot girl.
No, it's a new term. It's a new term specifically for women to just like sort of stop caring what anybody's thinking about them and to just like love themselves and to like seek their bliss. So when I'm saying I'm going to have a hot girl summer, that's what I'm doing. I'm not looking for anything particular, but I'm following my own desires.
Right.
A fuckboy is someone who's emotionally unavailable, lacks inner accountability, and views relationships as purely transactional. I am not looking for a fuckboy summer.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay, I get it. I get what she's saying. I get what you're saying. I get everything now. Yes, so the hot girl summer is freeing, empowering, and it's you having an amazing experience that isn't hurting anyone or manipulating. It's empowering you. A fuckboy summer is predatory. It's irresponsible. It's taking advantage of. It's hurting people. So you're not a fuckboy.
You're really good at like distilling things and recapping.
No, thank you. I got to provide some kind of value in this podcast, Shaun. Because
you provide a lot of value. Okay, so I think also the issue was that I called it a super slutty hot girl summer. So what that means for me is that like, it's a hot girl summer, but I want to have sex, right? Yeah. And the word slut, it has traditionally been a derogatory term, but there has been a movement for a long time now of taking back the word.
That's happening, huh?
Yeah. Well, have you heard of the book The Ethical Slut?
I have not.
It's a book. It's like probably one of the more like widely known books about non-monogamy. It's like sort of an intro to non-monogamy, right? And the term has been used as an expression of choice to openly have multiple partners and revel in that choice, right? A slut is a person of any gender which has the courage to lead life according to the radical proposition that sex is nice and pleasure is good for you, which is sort of what we're talking about, right? Like radical relationship design.
Taking the word slut and then stripping the shame from it is what's happening.
Yeah. So slut is like the way I'm using it is a sex positive term for someone who enjoys sex and doesn't feel shame about it or tries not to feel shame about it and doesn't see anything wrong with having multiple partners or even being promiscuous.
Right.
So that's just I just wanted to like clear that up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't know any of this stuff. So when you said I want to have a hot girl summer, I just thought you meant it's summertime and I want to experience hot girl.
That's hilarious.
That's like me being a dad, dude.
When I say it, I'm the hot girl in this.
No, I know. Shaun, I don't know what's going on right now, man, with the world and terms.
No, but it's not just
where am I supposed to learn this?
It's not just here on We Can Do Better podcast with Shaun and John.
Well, because you're schooling me, but when I go through life, I don't know what all these fucking acronyms and all these terms and it's a lot to absorb. It's a lot to catch up on.
Well, TBF, you're doing a really great job.
So I don't know what TBF means. Wait, hold on. Let me guess. TBF. To be. I mean, it can mean anything. To be fucked.
To be fair.
To be final. To be fair. See.
To be fair, you're doing a really great job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
God.
I have a funny question for you.
I feel old as fuck. Anyway. And I know what AF is. I feel old AF, Sean. How's that?
Wait, I have a question for you. How are you feeling in this moment?
Old AF. Old AF.
Do you feel like judged
No, I mean, because Vanessa makes fun of me because I'm not caught up with the times, but you're also now cementing what she's been saying all along by proving, just because like when you use terms like hot girl summer, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I just assume, you know what I'm saying? So like that story is telling that I have a lot of catching up to do, that I am getting old.
Well, yeah, but also we're not expected to know everything all at once, all the time.
Look how cute it is, the way we're both sitting.
Yeah.
The same. Laverne and Shirley. Oh, I keep dating myself.
Larry and Mo or something.
Okay. It's okay, man. You know what? You got to start with truth, and I do believe, and also with the whole consent thing, that also kind of checked me and stuff. So I'm getting a little checks here and there. That's kind of telling of someone who grew up in the 80s for sure.
I mean, I guess I didn't grow up in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, you grew up in the 90s. In the 80s, I was my wonder years, and 90s was your wonder years, right? So when I was like 10 to 12, that was 80s for you. I think it was 90s. I have almost a decade on you.
Well, I love your openness, and I'm like continuously impressed at like how you're able to deal with this stuff and like not take it too personally, and I'm also I'm a little sensitive. Like I have gotten feedback that that I give you more criticism than you give me.
Dude, it's coming from love. I don't take it that way. I don't ever feel like you're putting me down or trying to make me look stupid. The way that you go into things, and I think this is why people love you. It's always heartfelt. It's always coming from a kind place. It's always, So whether we're talking about your exchanges with in your personal life, or with me, it's all the same. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks. I mean, I want to be sensitive. Also, I want to be open to you criticizing me or giving me feedback. So, the door's open there.
Well, I did criticize you for yucking my yum. Is that an old term as well?
No, that's new. That's pretty new. Good job.
I stole that shit from Vanessa. From Vanessa. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, with the jet ski.
Yes, you yuck my yum very fast by saying.
I feel badly about that. I feel badly about that.
You said you were on cocaine, and even being on getting on a jet ski, even on cocaine was boring.
Well, no, it's because of the cocaine that it was boring.
Okay.
Because it wasn't going fast enough.
Yeah.
This episode titled "Cocaine on Jet Skis."
Oh, that's exactly. Oh God, that's great. I love it.
Okay, I got a couple more things here for you.
Yes.
Okay, funny question. Do you stay hard when you're going down on Vanessa?
Oh my God, dude. Holy shit. I don't think she's ever listened to this podcast, and I'm kind of scared that if she does, she's
okay,
like,
wait,
what the fuck are you talking about?
It doesn't have to be Vanessa. It could just be like, do you maintain an erection when you're giving oral sex to a woman? But because you've been with Vanessa for a long time, that's the name I came up with.
It's so oral sex, me, it changes, but right now, oral sex, me going down, me giving it is one of the things that turns me on the most. I could be down there for an hour. She has to grab my ears and pull me up. Be like, dude, we have to go eat lunch, John. We have a baby to raise.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of the things that turns me on the most. I also feel like it's one of the most intimate. So yes, I do. I mean, I don't know if it stays hard. It definitely, So here's a misconception. You could be very turned on. I think a lot of people judge how turned on you are by your erection, and that's sometimes false. You can be very turned on, but not hard. You can be very turned on and rock hard. So
yeah. So the question comes from just like an IG story that I answered, where I think a lot of women assume that if you lose your erection, you're no longer turned on, and so women were taking it personally that actually them going down on the woman was turning. That's what was turning them off, because they weren't maintaining an erection.
Yeah, and I think also a lot of men assume that if a woman's not wet, they're not turned on. That's not true.
Also true. Yeah, correct. Also a myth.
Well,
so I just want
yeah, sorry. I believe that as well, and I realized, oh wait, that's not true. I thought you're only turned on if you like. I thought the wetness is a measuring stick of how turned on you are or not, and I realized that has actually no, that's not true.
Yeah, you got to read the room, read the body, read the person. So just to dispel the myth, if your male partner loses his erection while he's going down on you, it doesn't have anything to do with you. It has
Yes.
nothing to do
Yes.
with you or your vulva or anything. It's just that like sometimes you can't maintain an erection for 20, 30 minutes when it's pressed into the mattress or something, you know?
Yeah, and also he could be so turned on that he can't get it up. He could be so attracted to you that he's nervous and can't get it up.
Yes, that has happened.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one last question, and it's not
Yes.
sexual this time. So for everybody who's like, "Gee, these guys can't stop talking about sex."
Dude, since episode 1, it hasn't stopped.
Hi, my name is Pamela, and I'm calling from Ontario, Canada. And my question is, do you think there is a list of foolproof questions that you can ask someone to help determine if they want to become more serious? I'm struggling with trying to figure out how to ask those kinds of questions and what to ask, and whether or not the answers will be how to ask these questions so that you have sort of like honest answers. Do you think there are questions that are pretty foolproof?
Do you want me to go?
Are you still thinking?
No, I have an answer to this. So I don't like the word foolproof. I don't think anything in love is foolproof. It makes me feel like she wants some kind of guarantee or some kind of promise that she will not get hurt or disappointed. The ante to sit at the table of love is possible pain, right? I think always bring it back to you. So if you want to know if a relationship has a future or where it's going, I think like, hey, here's how I'm feeling about it. Here, I'm really enjoying this, or here's what I want. Like, just bring it back to you and state where you're at and what you love about this and what you want. And then the other person will either meet you there or not. You know, I don't think it's about asking certain questions that is foolproof or a guarantee of where they're at. It just feels like a lot of chess to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is someone who, and understandably so, wants to eliminate uncertainty in their relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that relationships require you to sit with uncertainty, right? There is going to be some amount of instability. And you can also never really guarantee that someone's not going to lie to you, right? If you ask them, where do you see this relationship going? What do you hope to accomplish? You know, like, do you want us to be more serious? Do you want to get, you know, like, you just never know if someone is going to tell you the truth, right? So I think there has to be check-in regularly about the relationship. How are we doing? What do you love about this? What don't you love about this? Where do you, you know, like, what are you looking for? And then also, like, do their actions match their words? Right? If they say, "Oh, you're the love of my life. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you," and then they continuously flake on you, or they break plans, or they're shifty and evading, then you have a conversation to have.
Yeah. And also, if they're how they are is kind of telling of where they are, where they're at in the relationship. If they're shifty and avoiding. Yeah, I like that. I don't like games, man. And I think being honest with yourself first, and then with that person, and then bringing it back to you is kind of always the go-to answer for me.
I used to tell people, don't ask them, like, where do you see this relationship going? Just say, I'd really love to be in a relationship with you. I'd really love to get married eventually. I'd really love to like have a family with you. And then how do they respond to that?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. Bringing it back to you and what you want. When you say, where do you see this relationship going, you are positioning this as a test, as a gauging the other person. And it's like, let me see where you're at, and then I'll do what I'm going to do. It's like that whole thing where it's like, I'm not going to say I love you first. I'm going to wait for the other person to say it, like that kind of thing. It's like, if you feel it and you want to talk about this, it's important to you, then bring it back to you and talk about it.
I think the fear is that, like, this is something that I've been like noticing, is that sometimes when you tell someone what you want, they'll pretend like they want that so they can keep sleeping with you.
Sure, and or the fear is also that they don't feel the same way.
Yeah.
And if they don't feel the same way, isn't it better to know about it sooner? Like.
Yeah, and if you ask, where do you see this going? And they're like, oh, I just really enjoy spending time with you. I'd love to keep seeing you. And it's like, if it's not the answer that you're expecting, you can sort of like be like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that works. Instead of having to feel rejected, you sort of just go with the flow, even though that's not what you want. You want more commitment.
Yes. I also feel like, speaking of old blueprints, we put way too much weight on the promise, and so we're so obsessed with, is this going to work out? Is this person the one? You're thinking about baby names and shit when you should just be present and just enjoy what's happening. Instead of the promise, instead of asking like, where's this going? Just like, you should be grateful that you have a connection. This is amazing, and enjoy it, and then as it unfolds, you guys could see if this is worth investing in, or if you guys want the same things or not. But it's going to play itself out. There's no need to like want answers right now.
I had a girlfriend that every time we were together, like I just wanted, she was very avoidant, and I, which in turn made me very anxious. And I always wanted more time with her. She was kind of flaky. And every time we were hanging out, I'd be like, well, when are we going to see each other next? And she was like, we're seeing each other now. Like I needed guarantee of future hangs.
Yeah.
Which was impacting my ability to even enjoy the present moment with her.
Right. I have a lot of clients, or I've had a lot of clients, I gotta say mostly women in their 30s, 40s with this giant ticking clock. They will only date you if, you're saying there's a future, or like it's very, very, very kind of, are we a thing or not? And if we don't know within a certain amount of time, then I'm not wasting my time on you. There's a lot of that.
Yeah. I feel like that could be we should revisit that, because I think it's a really big topic.
Oh, it's huge.
The topic of the, like, how to date when there's a ticking clock, right? When there is the desire for having like a natural childbirth with a partner.
I get the clock is real. I don't want to minimize that. And I get, as we get older, especially if you want children, yes, there is a window. But and also if you've been dating someone for 5 years and you're like, okay, I want answers, I think that's fair. But I'm talking about just like when you're in the couple weeks of dating, just meeting someone new and it's exciting, you're already planning this whole future. And if things don't line up, you don't want to waste your time. That'll.
Yeah. I want answers now.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Whew. That was good. Are you okay?
Yes. I always enjoy these conversations. We always go somewhere and come back. So
I was excited about this one.
Yeah, I also love and appreciate, and I think the listeners do too, the fact that, man, you really give our audience a voice. So whether they're calling in or leaving comments on social media, you really address things. You really make them feel heard, and that's I really love that about this.
Yeah, I've gotten positive feedback about that too.
Yeah.
I've heard from people saying they've never experienced a podcast like this where they feel heard and seen and can call in. And so, yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm going to be in Italy for a wedding.
Wow.
And we rented a house on Monday. I don't know what in Lake Como. I have no idea what the situation is going to be like.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Is that where you're going? Lake Como?
Well, no, we're going to the Dolomites.
Shaun, I can't be your friend anymore.
Sorry, hold on. Wait, hold on. It gets worse. We're going to the Dolomites for the wedding, which is like the Italian Alps.
Oh.
We're going to be in.
You're going to go to Lake Como and hang out at Clooney's house? Is that what's happening?
No. Colfosco is where we're going to be for the wedding, and then a whole bunch of us rented a house for like 3-4 days after the wedding in Lake Como.
Fuck.
So what I'm saying is I don't know what the recording quality is going to be like, because there's going to be like 10 of us in a house.
I think it's all part of it. I mean, I think what's exciting about this series is you traveling and everyone getting living vicariously through Shaun.
Correct. And then I might end the trip in Ibiza, Spain.
Man, those are two places also on my list. I've always wanted to go, and you're tackling them like in the same month. That's pretty amazing.
But the great thing about this, I can give you intel.
everyone, I'm in my garage with a chopstick retracing my eye lines because they're getting droopy, and Sean's going to Lake Como, Ibiza, and having these crazy sexcapades.
Is the chopstick thing like some sort of gua sha or something? Like a myofascial release to like tone the skin?
When I was 10 years old, one of the compliments I started getting from friends and family is that I have eye wrinkles, eye lines.
Yeah.
So there are Asian people who have eye wrinkles, and there are Asian people who don't. If you have eye wrinkles, you look a little more exotic and American because your eyes are a little more almond shaped instead of, back in the day, quote unquote, slanted. And so as a 10-year-old, when you get told these things, then you place value on the shape of your eyes. And so every night I was so scared that my eye wrinkles would be gone that I would trace them with something like this, a chopstick, to make sure that I look more American. And so since then, it's been this habit of mine to take a chopstick and trace my eye wrinkle to make sure it's still there. As I get older, like you're saying, the eye starts drooping, and me seeing that my eyes are more droopy activates me because it seems like my eye wrinkles are leaving, and that's tied to my worth. So I still do this, and I'm okay with it. Listen, I know what I'm doing. I'm very well aware of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Sharpay.
All right, we everyone, to be continued with Sean's adventures and John's jealousy.
Love you, John. Oh, I have a question about jealousy. We can tackle it next week.
Yes, love you, Sean.
And be well, everybody.
Be well.